So we have another Game Gear here today, sent in. Quite a lot of corrosion on the terminals. Customer's already opened this one up, but quite a lot of corrosion and general stuff. So we'll give this a bit of a clean up with some IPA, and yeah, we'll see if we can get it going. Just removing the power board now. And the soundboard, but first you've got to take away the heat shield. I'm not sure if this is dust or just like flaking corrosion that's scattered throughout this, but hopefully it's mainly dust. Just remove the soundboard now. Good thing for magnetic screwdrivers. Nice. So let's have a quick look at the soundboard. Apparently there is some sound, very quiet, like through the headphone jack and stuff, but you can just see all the corrosion from the leaky capacitors there. Alright, and let's just get the power board out again. So just need to remove this. It literally just peels away. Put that to the side for later on. One of the screws. Take that off, just to give that a bit of a clean up later. Let's have a look at this power board. Looks a bit gnarly, but a bit of clean up should be okay. Alright, so let's take out the main board as well and the screen. All Phillips screws, which is always helpful. The reason why I didn't take the screws out of the case was they came like that. Continue removing these screws. And don't remove that one, that's for the screen, so just remove the one to the right of it. And you got these big boys that fix it down to the case. And the other one. One. Two. Alrighty, so we should be able to lift this gently. Bearing in mind, it's obviously been in here for 30 years, so just wiggle gently. And then double checking you have taken out all the screws. Oh, there he is. See, always gotta check. Nice. So let's have a look. Quite a lot of stuff has got onto the board there. Corrosion again, but mainly like dust. Not too sure what it is, but we do have a blue corrosion here, which is gnarly. And this is a single ASIC chip, so just the as opposed to the two ASIC. So let's just try and tidy this board up a bit. Get the old toothbrush out. Just see what comes away here. See if we can make it minty fresh. Oh, it is pretty stubborn there. So you can scrape away a bit. Use these things for everything. I think of corrosion, if it's there, it just keeps going, doesn't it? Cool shade of blue. Okay. Now this is a negative pad, so if you pull a trace from a negative area, you can actually wire it to this, although currently I'm not sure how negative this pad is. Let's see how that's gone. Big on blue stuff. And then if we mirror, have a look, it's directly on the D-pad, which is concerning for whether they still work. You know, hopefully the traces haven't been affected. So if we do look, fingers crossed they haven't been eaten away. More blue jazz, come on blue jazz. End up going through the board of this, right? It'll be quite gentle now. Not too gentle, but quite gentle. Yeah, so the customer said that it turns on, but you have to view it at an angle. So that's like the typical reason for a recap. However, sometimes a recap isn't enough and there's actually like further damage, i.e. corrosion. Right, this is looking less corroded now. I think I'm just going to leave that alone for now. So, it's just some general tidying up throughout now. And all the while looking for more corrosion, which may give us a reason if after the recap it still doesn't work. If you look for the ASIC chip as well, there's a corrosion on the ASIC. What's that? That's okay. It's a bit of the PCB board. The traces look okay from what I can see. Let's look for the phone actually. That looks okay to be fair. And if we look further down here, got some more corrosion here, but that's not too big a deal really. But again, we can mirror, have a look what's underneath. Let's have a look. So mirroring that little one, it goes over to these traces also. I can't see trace damage, so that's great. Give it a little freshen up there. And the contrast wheel, or gotta get in the contrast wheel. Nice. Give that a little gentle little brush. Try not to touch the LCD because they're quite impossible to clean after. Even though we've got a bit of IPA on there, that's okay. Just blowing that all there. Let's give this a little wipe. I'm not sure if the plan is to upgrade this LCD. We'll have to see how it comes out. A bit more stuff there, just give it a little wipe over. And also after now, what we'll do, we'll get some Q-tips. Wherever they've gone. My normal Q-tips, but we'll just give the D-pad a little wipe over. Looks pretty clean to be fair. Same over here. Bit of IPA. IPA, soft brush. There's yeah, let's look back on here. The corrosion is staying away currently. And let's get going at recapping, while removing the old capacitors first and seeing how that goes. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can do this, but I found the safest way is probably just to get a little pliers, snap the glue, lift it up, snap the glue, lift it up, see, snap the glue and lift up. You can tear traces by just tearing them off. So again, snap, lift up. So then we can solder it off basically, and repeat this process throughout. So let's just try and remove some of these old caps just by heating up one leg. Again, you don't want to tear these off because it's possible that you can destroy the traces, and then this is a hassle then. Let's get this one. So just like heat up and lift. Hello cat. Lift again. Nice. And then this is different to the so the capacitors are in a different position to the 2 ASIC, but I think the 2 ASIC is more common. And my cat loves Q-tips. Loves eating them, don't you? That's probably what he's looking for. And then, oh, that one already came up on its own. That's fine. Just be patient. Another one. And obviously they're normal capacitors, they're just encased in this plastic shell. Sometimes they just fall away, depends how damaged they actually are. This one like 3, bit of melted plastic in there. Lovely. Good thing about having a soldering iron, it's very, very hot. Obviously, if you're going to try this, just take your time and just one leg. Leg. And plastic bits everywhere. Love it. Eventually I will get a soldering mat. I've been using this yellow cloth for quite a while. It's a super soft yellow cloth, so I'm sure that accounts for something. One. Be very careful with the iron not to melt any of the plastic, because that's very easy to do. after you remove these, give your eye a nice clean. I'm pretty sure the single ASIC has more capacitors than the 2 ASIC, so arguably it's more work recapping a single ASIC, but fundamentally it's the same jazz. Like with something in ball there. That's fine. Let's move on to wipe over. Obviously, the more contaminant you have on the head of the iron, the less heat transference will happen. Nice. So that's the last capacitor. Let's just clean all the pads up now with some wick. So SolderWorks actually really good at cleaning traces. They've got like this weird, just like soldery pen here. It's cheap but cheerful, and it'll help the solder the flow a bit better into the wick. See how this goes. Got my extractor on now because you don't want to be breathing in all these lovely fumes. Nice. Sometimes if there's damage, corrosion, the leg or pad doesn't really want to play ball. So after this we'll go over and clean them again with some IPA and a Q-tip. Evidently, I'm not a professional. I just do this as a hobby, and I now offer my hobby as a service. So, yeah. Always love Sega though. See how this goes. Is it coming up nicely? Make sure there's good heat transference. If it doesn't have good transference, yeah, try a bit of. May actually need the more expensive flax. Let's see how it goes. I got given that flax by my brother-in-law. Yeah, he doesn't want to play, does he? Okay, let's do a comparison. Where's my... Let's see how this goes now. Putting the good flux on now. Let's see if this works any better. Yeah. And you see like there's like grime and all that in there. We should clean up with the IPA quite nicely, the Q-tip. And then so we've got, I'm not as familiar as a single ASIC as I am with the 2 ASIC, but they have similar traces, so I just put some of the better flux down just to help clean these traces. So we've got some remnants of some plastic here. Be careful with that. See if we can remove it. Don't want that interrupting. There we go. Rightio. Nice, much nicer with a good flux. Nice hot iron. I use mine at about 400 degrees, which you gotta watch what you're working on because that can be too hot for some things. But I find it works fine for Game Gears. Obviously, just don't hold your iron too long because you risk lifting traces and damaging other components. And watch where you put in the work as well, because there's a lot of small capacitors around, or like resistors, and you don't want to desolder those, because otherwise you'll have to find out what they were and where they went. Before I removed a transistor by accident, thinking it was plastic, like by there, it looks pretty similar to the cap shell, so I wasn't too hard on myself. And I managed to find replacements on eBay. It's just all good. One last one. Just gotta get a good angle so I can see. Watch this wiring. You don't want to melt that wiring, because that delivers power to the board. Just notice another difference with ASIC 1. On ASIC 2 there's another component right here, so it's quite hard to reach this area, but it actually looks alright to reach in comparison. I've misplaced my Q-tip box, but I've got some stragglers around, so we'll make do. So let's just clean up these traces. Lovely. And these hopefully will be happy. Don't forget the ones over here. Just those two. Nice. Cool. Alright, let's get these prepped ready for new capacitors. Okay, so we're going to be recapping this Game Gear with ceramic SMD capacitors from Retro 6, except for the power board that uses electrolytic capacitors. First things, we're going to use 510 UF capacitors. Not 10, we're going to use 5 of them. 3 to start with on this side, so we'll get those out now. Do not drop these on the floor, they're very hard to find. So yeah, we're just going to pre-flux these traces. Good thing about ceramic capacitors is that they don't really have polarity, so you can put them in however which way, as long as they're flat. So I'm just going to put a bit of solder on my iron there, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Right, my angle's all wrong there. Yeah, and also like make sure you don't like start soldering to those two instead of this. Remember where you took everything from. Make sure there's contact with the trace and capacitor. There's already flux there, so now flux just makes everything flow nicer and just works really well. These are very small things, Hence why I'm using. I do it by eye. I'm not by the camera, but eventually I wouldn't mind having some sort of magnifying. It seems to be connected there. Nice. Let's turn this around so we can get that one. Actually, let's just put that like that. Let's see how this goes. You gotta make sure you don't bridge this capacitor to one of those pins as well. So let's bring this down a little bit more. So that would not be ideal. Okay. You can just hold it there for like a second, just while the solder sets, because sometimes it just takes a second to actually set. Alright, and that's looking okay there. Let's just spray those with IPA and just give it a bit of a clean up. It's actually a lot harder to do this while filming. Capacitors down there. I made for the quality of the job stop recording and finish the rest of the capacitors now. So I installed the remaining 10 UF here and here. Now we've got 500 UF to install. Again, these are slightly bigger, but not really. There's a debate currently what is better, ceramic capacitors or electrolytic. I prefer ceramic because of the no polarity. And they're just fairly easy. But yeah, there is question as to whether they're actually as good as electrolytic. I'll solder on that. We can zoom out a little bit. There we go. Nice. A bit more solder on. As I make more videos, hopefully everything gets a bit better. And just stick your iron in there and let the solder come to you. There we go. We still got the 2 tiny 1 UF capacitors to install as well. The problem with me, I use these tweezers for like most things in my soldering, so then they're not very straight, so it's quite actually hard then to pick things up because quite often they're very bent. Drop them. Yeah, definitely don't drop the 1 UF on the floor. That's you will never ever find it again. But the Hoover will. So make sure you've got a nice amount of solder and good contact. And flux really helps with the flow of everything. Just try and zoom in. Okay, so move that by there. Right, let's get those smallest capacitors now. We'll use 1 UF, which in the bag even look tiny. They are tiny. There's no denying that. So what we do, just like peel back the plastic and let them drop. I'm gonna let them drop onto the little cloth thing here, so I know where they are. Okay. I'll have to zoom in again just to see where I'm actually soldering. So it's these two. 1, 2. So again, pre-tin your tip. Pick up the smallest little bugger. And then what I do, I just touch the pad and guide in there, holding for a sec. Fingers crossed. No, he's not there yet. Try that again. No, it's not behaving. It may not be enough solder. Oh, this time yours. There we go. And just hold the pads. There we go. Nice. And again. Nice. Now with these, they heat up really quick, so if you faff around with one side for too long, it will just desolder. That's not always good. Last one. This goes there. Retro 6 do a really good diagram of where the capacitors go, which is what I use. Nice. So in theory, that should be all the capacitors. Let's just give this a clean up again. When the board's hot, that's one of the best times to get rid of the old flux, even though this flux does say no clean. I don't know about that. Right, so that's done. Okay, so that recap is fixed in here. We do have a horizontal line in the middle, very faint, barely noticeable to be fair. That is probably a sign of the LCD dying, maybe. But again, this would be a perfect candidate for an LCD upgrade. I thought I'd just show a cool picture as I hold to the window there. You can see all the traces inside. Just don't drop it. Don't drop it. Okay, so this is the soundboard then. Where to begin, I suppose. So these electrolytic capacitors, they leak fluid and they can also get into the headphone jack. You see the corrosion in there. We'll try the brush and some IPA. I have found probably the easiest way for me to get these off is slowly prying them away. Not everyone does that, some people solder them off, but I find if I'm just really gentle. If you do lift the trace on the soundboard, it's not the end of the world, because one, that trace may have been just bad anyway, but we'll get that afterwards. You can, all the traces are quite, you can see them, the green lines, you can see where they go, and usually they link up quite well. So you can save them quite well. Just be very gentle. Twist in the polarity direction as well. So it comes away just gently, 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 gently. And sometimes they're so damaged that they just come off anyway. But yeah, they can pull a trace with them, which is quite annoying then. especially if it's a positive trace. But just do what you can. This is currently the stage I'm at, where I'm just basically pulling them off. And then I hate recapping power boards. I don't know why, but they are just typically quite finicky things. The main board is actually quite nice to do. Right, so let's give this a bit of a clean up. Let's tidy up a bit. I've learned as well. The worst thing you can do is use your toothbrush for cleaning, but also brush your teeth with it. No, use your toothbrush for cleaning, but also cleaning flux. And it's not good to clean flux with it. Everything just goes fluxy then afterwards and it's all sticky and minging. Let's try and get in that headphone jack. Get a bit of bristles in there. Bristle. And underneath as well. Don't forget the underneath part. Ooh. I think it had some evident corrosion there because it changed colour straight away as soon as I touched it. Fingers crossed we can bring this back to life. It's very rewarding when you bring these back to life. Get a revolving wheel as well, make sure that's all free up. Right, so a bit cleaner there. So again, we'll add some flex and solder with the pads to get them nice and away from the old horrible minging solder. So we get this, where is it? There it is. Go down here first. Again, you can rip traces in doing this, hopefully not. Don't want those rip traces. I need to cut my wick. There he is. Stolen from my wife's nail nail cutting stuff. It's actually really good for trimming plastic bits after like mods and stuff. So that's really good. So nice. The first one came out quite nicely there. Just pin this down a bit. Lovely. Those two traces came away really nice there. Just keep this in the middle. Yeah, I will get a solder mat eventually. One day. Probably make my life easier. I don't have a huge workspace to be fair. I have a table. The kitchen table. One day I will have a shed. Nice. Oh. I find this one likes to tear quite a lot. It must be, and that is the one actually that probably leaks the most because he goes into the headphone jack. So you have to watch that one. That's probably why he lifts up the most, from what I've seen anyway. Not sure what statistically which trace lifts the most. Just hold it on there and it should come away. There we go. Quite often you're just chasing the what's left of the legs to come off, along with the old solder. Nice. So that one is still gnarly. It could just be crud as opposed to, I call it crud. Could be just crud. Gentle again, you don't want to strip it. Let's just, we need to find those Q-tips. Let's go find some. I found some. Nice, right, so spray, and wipe. Or rub even. It's crazy. A lot of these obviously are bought from like eBay, and they've lived a long time in someone's attic. So there's a chance of them being very corroded, forgotten about, bless them. Alas, let me just try and help get these back to people's lives, really. Such a hero. Because a lot of people love retro gaming stuff. So this uses 5 100 UF capacitors. Again, ceramic, because I like an easy life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this requires basic arithmetic. Rightio, and same again then. So we're just turning this bad boy, and we'll start. Doesn't matter which way. We'll start just here. Make sure he's pretty flat there. And the thing with these as well, the twists are quite long. So you can sometimes feel like you need to properly fill it. As long as that capacitor is touching the pad with a decent amount of solder, happy days really. We'll go and do the dodgy one next. Oh, careful. I do have a soundboard actually that I recapped, still doesn't work. And I'm blaming the headphone jack because of the corrosion, but I'm not sure. There's a bit much solder there, however, should do the job. Yeah, not a professional, but I enjoy recapping. It's quite therapeutic, making things work again. Nice. Nice. 2 more. Another reason why I like ceramic caps is the speed that you can install them. Make sure you're not touching the pins after recapping. End of the day, it doesn't matter if it's actually wonky, as long as it's connecting to the pad and there's a good solder connection. Flux is your best friend. It allows a nice flowing of the solder to the trace. Right, so again, with a cleaner. Clean up. Nice. What we could do actually, we'd have a sneaky look to see if this soundboard works following this recap. Where's my toothbrush? I'm doing what I said I wouldn't do before. Touch it with flux, but that just never works out quite well. Right, so let's see if this is successful. It's not the world's prettiest job actually. Alas. Let's see if it works. Sweet music to my ears. There we go. Love it. I'm not sure when was the last time this was played, but nice. Starts working. Okay, so last but not least, we have the original power board. It's the one I picked the most, really. I'll probably speed this one up. So it usually takes me about 10 years to get the biggest capacitor out. However, these pins are quite nice, so we'll see how it goes. But first, let's just start with a nice little cleaner. We know this power board works because it was loading up the game before the recap, as per the customer said. Let's go now. Rightio. Right, so we shall take the big one first. So the bit of flux, I have had to increase the temperature before. I'm going to go with the 410 because I found that these powerboard ones, the solder can be quite, I don't know, dry. We'll see how this goes now. It may flow completely fine into the wick. You have to get a solder sucker as well. Hold it there, go to another one as well. This is actually looking better than normal. Yeah, that's good. Nice. Lock that. I'll lock that a lot. Nice. See if there's any more solder will suck away. Sometimes if it's really successful, you'll actually see gaps forming. So this may actually be nice. So yeah, see how there's a gap there? Really good. Let's try this again actually. Watch with the wick, because obviously it does get hot. Let's see if there's anything else we can get there. Nice. So they're both actually free now. Oh wow, if all power boards were this easy, I wouldn't have a problem with them. Nice. Beautiful. Look at that, textbook. I completely know what I am doing. So we have this one and that one just to take out, so that's there. And mirroring again. Double. Just confusing myself now. So again, a bit of flux, happy days. And I need to cut this wick really. It's getting a bit long now, but hey ho, it's all good. Hold that there. Hopefully all the solder comes away. Hopefully I'll add some background music to this video. Maybe like elevator music. Nice. Oh, this is a dream. This is actually going really well. Right, it's still attached a little bit. You can do that. Be very careful. You can just keep this little bit. There it is. And it does hurt a little bit. Ow. There. Ow. There we go. Should be able to wiggle it free now. Nice. And the holes have been quite good there. So yeah, what confused me is, I swear this is usually the other way, that way, but it's this way. It could be a revision. Made, I don't know. I think I could be right. Well, it doesn't matter. You go down, capacitor, I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna knock you out. Alright, no, not like that. Okay. Jam it in there. Nice. Nice. Quite a dark day today, isn't it? Alright. And you can hear them wiggling around there. And if you look, they're pretty much free already. Nice. And I just basically like twist on the other side. But the capacitor does get hot also, so you gotta be careful. Let's try and pull that through now. Nope, left the leg behind. Good gracious. Alas. It's okay. Don't hold back. This is GCSE physics now. Nice, we got the leg. Right, so let's check all 6 holes. That's right, I said 6. So the last 2, a little bit rough. That's okay. Sometimes I just like gently poke a little tweezer. Nah, I think there's too much solder in there. So what we'll do, we'll just get a bit of flux. And we'll go over it a bit with our lovely wick. And that should suck the rest of that solder out. Got a hole there long enough. And there he is. Oh. I think I was focusing on the wrong hole there. That's what she said. Right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nice. So, beautifully, again, genius by Sega. They've actually made the circles to represent the size of the capacitor also. Oh, yes, beforehand, let's give it a look clean. Those holes I haven't seen here for decades, so give it a bit of a clean, just in case it's going to disrupt the electricity jazz. So electrolytic, you have a negative side with always a shorter leg, and on the board, the whitey, silvery, grey bit is actually just spotted corrosion here. Okay, let's get a bit of IPA in there, get my little tough brush. Hopefully that's nothing. Let's see how that goes. So literally just insert. Watching through the video now, that's all. I just bend those over so it stays in place. And then we get the 20, I believe the smallest one is a 22 UF, which does go again negative. Bend those legs again. And the last one, negative. Nice. Nice. Again, I do this as a hobby, but I also I tell people that I'm not a professional. I offer to recap their game gears. I don't think I do an awful job. Well, in my own opinion, I've improved a lot, and I make things work, so it can't be that horrendous. So now we're just going to hold the iron there, and introduce the solder. Hold it again, just to make sure it forms nicely, nice bond. Nice. Again. Nice. Again. Nice. Now this one's the other way, so it's smaller now. Nice. And now if I didn't use flux on these, it's possible that I'd want a bridge. So like creating a bridge like that. So obviously we don't want that. So to do that, just keep applying the heat and go free again. Nice. Same with like ASIC chips or any chips that you're transplanting. Just plenty of flux, take your time, move the iron around, and the solder will find its way back to a joint. So I just lift these legs up, get my wife's clipper things. Go and trim these quite close so they don't cause any shorts Little troubles. Alright, let's see if this works now. Let's give this another clean. This time I'm going to use a bit of I don't know what I found then. A little lucky dip. What is that? A bit of copper. Uh-oh. Is that from in here? I don't know. We've got some copper wire from somewhere. Well, I'll dry this off and now let's hook it up. The moment of truth. Don't zap yourself. There we go. Oh. There we go. We've got sound, we've got power, and we've got a working Game Gear. Alright, let's clean this up and put it back together. Okay, these cases I may actually bath because that corrosion is nasty. Yeah, and we'll run a nice little bath for these buttons as well, and these membranes. Oh, those wash around a bit, get nice and clean. This escalated quickly. We're now in a bath in the sink, remove the front lens, and yeah, just trying to get rid of this corrosion. Okay, so let's put this Game Gear back together. So, I've just finished drying it with the old world-class hairdryer. Put that back there. D-pad, all these are nice and clean now. That goes. This is left-handed. That goes in there. 50-50. Yeah, so nice. That goes in there. And these sit nicely in there. And fingers crossed, everything behaves itself now. I'll watch that speaker wire. I have to be cautious now of. Actually, this all still needs cleaning up the back. Alright, let's get some stuff for this. That and some alcohol. Try not to rub off the original number. Yeah. I mean, a lot of those stuff can't really help that. I mean, the more grit you leave in there, the more likely it's going to go on the screw and stuff. That should be okay. Right, a rough feel of the buttons as you put it back in. Should be good to screw these down now. We'll use the big boys first. Drop them on the floor. That's okay. Can't lose those. I'll have a quick look around now. Make sure contrast wheel is in and moving and nothing else is looking dodgy. Typically the speaker wire pokes out there, which is lovely, wrapped around, and it's not about to be screwed into. Make sure you cover that. Let's screw the main board back in. Should be quite nice to be fair, should go in quite well. Little magnetic too tight, not too loose, just to keep everything not moving around. All Phillips like before, like I said. Another one. Sometimes the contrast wheel, they can get caught, and then you're installing it, and then you realise you snapped the contrast wheel because it's actually on the outside rather than on the inside. One last little screw, and one more big screw. Which I see him. There he is. Now this one doesn't actually have screws in the back. Don't go for the wrong holder, as she said. So I think I may have some spares from my recent mod. I'll just let the customer know while I bring in my buttons. Everything feels fine there. Cool. Put this to the side and we can get the other half of the case. I've also dried this because evidently there are wires, and just to ensure there's no moisture left. I've asked the customer, does he want me to replace these because they're pretty gnarly. It's only like £3 to buy new ones, so I'll wait to see what he says about that. Power button. So the bit with the writing goes up, and you can always tell which way it goes up because one doesn't really fit and it's really hard to turn on. These can snap, so be careful. So that goes obviously in the off position, and you should just glide back down. Sometimes if you've been pressing the battery terminals, it can be quite finicky to get back in. Make sure this goes back on, covers the battery ports. What have we got there? Oh, cheeky screw. There we go. Right, so same again. 2 little flip screws to secure them down. We've tested each individual board, and we know they all work together. So in theory, when you put everything back together, it should be working. That's nothing worse than putting everything back together and it doesn't work. Next will be our soundboard. That's it. Make sure he's nicely aligned. The sound wheel still works. 1, 2. 2 screws in that one too. And not forgetting to put the heat shield back as well. That also helps with the gain insertion as well. It acts as like a little bit of a guide for the actual cart. Right, that's in, and then we get the nicely cleaned up in there. We've still got 4 screws left over, which all coincides with how many holes are left here. And one more, and then we'll stick it all together then. And we'll go get my spare screws for the case. Be back now. I'm back. I've just connected back to the power board, to the speaker, and to the soundboard. It should close like a nice. Sandwich. Watch the heat shield. That's going quite nice. So regularly you actually find 3 screws on the security bit, So I'll just put a couple in just to keep it all secured, and then when the customer has it back, he can put his screws back in. I think that would be appropriate. Just to keep everything together, secured and safe. And yeah, I'll give, actually the security bit isn't, I'll probably just keep the security bit. Because yeah, it came with no screws in. Bit of a miracle it's working really, I suppose. Testament to my work. Right, so that's done. So here we have the finished product. Take two. So let's have a look at this Sega Game Gear. ASIC 1. I was worried about corrosion. Seems to be fine. We got him. We got it. Watch out for the crab.